able to do a pit maneuver on them if they weren't speeding. Right, they could have just hopped the fence. They could have just kept running. If they weren't speeding, you couldn't have done a pit maneuver. Even if you get in the car and drive away, drive very slow. Just go real slow, make him ram you as much as he could, anything, I don't know. Yes, Ice Cream said when you're young, you feel like you can do anything. Yes, it was all exciting to them. I guarantee you, when they were driving that car away from that man, how much y'all want to bet? Many of you white people in the audience know this dialogue is probably rings real true. Fuck, dude, I didn't think that dude was gonna be chasing after us, man. Drive, yo, man. That's fucking hilarious, dude. This is fucking hilarious. Yo, that asshole is still behind us, man. Get away from him, bro. Get away from him, bro. Fuck. Come on, white people, tell me how accurate that's funny. Somebody said not funny. I didn't say it was fucking funny. Stigma, motherfucker. Do you see me sitting up there saying it's funny? But when I was laughing at black folks think it's funny, motherfucker, it wasn't a motherfucking joke. It was serious. I'm telling you that's what them white boys was probably saying in the fucking car. You don't see a smile on my face, asshole. That is what the motherfucker was in that car doing until it crashed. They thought that shit was funny. They thought everything they did that day was fucking hilarious. Set me out to do a damn story about black folks and me giggling my ass off. Ain't now one of you motherfuckers came in and said, you shouldn't be laughing at that. I said something about these 3 dumbass white boys who lost their life being dumbasses. I'm sorry, they did. You played a stupid game. Because remember, that's what everybody plays this game. Well, some people win a prize. They played a stupid game. They won a stupid ass prize. Give a fuck that they're 16. You better tell your 16-year-old to learn from the death of these 16-year-olds. Can I get an amen? If a black 16-year-old dies, we sit up here and yuck it up and say them niggas should have did better. White boys sit up there and drove themselves to death. Who the fuck is 16 years old? You just got your license. You go around ringing motherfuckers' doorbells and think it's cute. I want y'all to understand, you think it's cute to irritate people. That's your joke. Irritate the fuck out of somebody. Ha 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 ha. Well, somebody might have been going through a divorce. Somebody who doorbell you rang might have just got fired from their job. Anything could have happened to those people you just trying to fuck with. You won. You won. And you lost. Let's go to another story.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, we'd like to welcome you to the show. This is your host of the afternoon, early evening, DJ Just J with Just Dime TNT, here to bring you guys another story out of the state of Texas. This is where I live. I'm definitely going to talk about my state. If I can talk about other people's states, then I'm sure you guys can respect that I can talk about the place where I lay my head at, right? Because we have an embarrassing act on a father's behalf, and I am extremely sad to say that a father had custody of these kids. He's done something very heinous. We're going to talk about it in a way that might not sit well with your sensibilities. So if you guys are not able to digest that kind of content, then all I ask you to do is just hit the red X in the top right corner and exit my channel. You know why?
Welcome to church. I am Destiny Peterson. Good morning. You can get involved by going to our YouTube chat line, stuff like that. And whatever your questions, comments are, we'll get to them. And good morning again to everybody here. Hi, y'all. Good. Thank you all for coming. It's supposed to be high 70s today, right? But it doesn't feel like it. Maybe it'll come at about around 5. Anybody have any questions or anything before I get rolling here? Is this your first time? Amazing. What's your name?
Oh, TJ.
CJ?
TJ.
TJ, thank you for coming. How did you find us?
I've been following you for a while on the internet.
Right on. And so you live here in LA?
No, I flew in this morning from Atlanta.
Georgia. Georgia on my mind.
Yeah.
And so, wow, so you brought those,
Georgia pralines.
wow, thank you.
Yeah, and
I can't wait to eat them.
awesome.
I was going to eat them just now, but I didn't want to be spitting all over the place. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You came a long way. Any questions or disagreement, anything?
I had to write down some questions so I wouldn't forget.
Good.
I can wait.
No. This is your time.
Well, I have a question relating to struggling with being emotional.
Right.
I sometimes I'll still get in my head
Right.
about not, I've never married because I just chose not to, I didn't want to be with anybody who wasn't right for me or who didn't, we weren't compatible. So I didn't want to be married just to say I was married. So I chose never to be married or have children because I don't believe in children outside of wedlock.
Right.
But I get in my head about being lonely and I have worldly things, but sometimes I just, it doesn't last long, but it does happen, and it makes me emotional.
Oh, let's kill the baby. Shoot the baby. No, don't shoot. Go ahead.
So I'm just not really sure how to stop being so emotional, or it bothers me that I get in my emotions about that.
Oh, I see. What type of man are you looking for? You said you didn't want to marry the wrong kind of guy or something like that?
Well,
what is the right type of guy?
Well, I attract beta guys.
That's all out there.
Yeah, I know, and the extra beta.
Especially Georgia, huh?
In Georgia, they're extra beta. Yes, yes.
So you want to know how to overcome emotions and kind of stay away from them, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. The young lady sitting next to you want to answer first. Did you grow up in Georgia?
No.
Where you? Hi.
I'm from Los Angeles by way of Pennsylvania, by way of Florida, by way of Atlanta.
Wow. Were you on the Underground Railroad or something?
No. Yeah.
When I say that the young lady next to you got to go in the house, do you know what I mean by that?
Yes.
What does it mean?
She's with child.
Yes. See, you got to be black to know this stuff.
Not true.
That's right. They didn't know what I meant by that last Sunday when I announced it. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
You want to respond to how to overcome that emotions and
I don't think I'm qualified to answer this.
why not?
Because I still succumb to my emotions.
You do? In what way?
In the way that I still, I feel like I owe something to thoughts. So like if I have a thought where I'm feeling
Yeah.
or a thought that's like, I'm sad or whatever, I don't just look at it like it's a thought. I owe it something. I give it more life. But I'm aware that I do that. So in some ways, it's like I don't really act on the thought, but it does make me feel something. I still
Right.
have a feeling with it,
Yeah.
but I try to just like, I almost act like I'm not letting it control my behavior, but I wouldn't say that I'm free of emotion yet.
So you get the thoughts, and sometimes you feel it, but you don't always act on it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about having the thoughts, or getting the thoughts and feeling that way?
I think that's the main problem, is that I judge myself for even having a thought, which is like the thoughts never go away. You just learn to observe them and see them like for what they are, and that they're not your own. But sometimes I'll get a thought, and then I'll judge myself for having a thought,
Oh,
even though it's not mine.
Yeah,
So I still like
I totally
I don't
understand.
see the difference between the thoughts and me sometimes, but with a lot of thoughts I do. I'm like, well, that's silly, and I just know that that's silly.
Right.
But sometimes they're more believable, and then I believe into them a little bit.
Yeah, I totally understand. One good thing about you being pregnant is that you cannot leave Mark now. You're stuck. She's stuck. Right on, Mark.
Mark's trapped too.
Yeah, you drop you right away. Gretchen want to respond, and then I'll give you my thoughts on this. So she sometimes gets emotional, and she wants to really overcome that, or what to do when that happens.
Sure. So for me personally, it really helps just to recognize that those thoughts are not my own, and more that they're not my own, but that any negative thought that I have is from the devil, and I absolutely don't want to listen to the devil. So that kind of just helps me ignore those thoughts, kind of, and push them aside. That's what I've been doing lately.
Yeah. The one thing I want you to know is that you're growing, right? The real you is growing in the way that a child grows. And you've been living in those thoughts for so long, it seemed to be real because you escaped into them as a way to survive the trauma that you were going through as a kid. And so you've been living by those thoughts. But now that you're waking up to them, you have to be patient and let yourself grow. When you get the thoughts and you feel it, no big deal, because now you know all thoughts are lies. No such thing as a true thought ever. And so you have to allow yourself to go through it. Just relax in the pain, knowing that you're in your head, and it'll pass. Because the fact that you can see it is the light of God shining on it, and he's killing the darkness. He's overcoming that darkness for you. And so for a while, it's just going to be that way until you grow and grow and grow, and then they get further and further away. After a while, it won't be a big deal. But it's not personal. It doesn't mean that you are not growing. It doesn't mean that God is not with you. You are like a little child growing in the light of God. And so, let her have the mic. And so if you, let's say that you feel real sad, you're all alone at home, Saturday night, you ain't got nobody, and all the girls going out slutting around, right? And you feel sick, you say, oh, look at you. You're so holy, you don't have nobody, right? And you believe it, you feel it, and let's say you start tearing up about it or something. Just let that happen, but don't judge it. Because you can't control, whatever you try to control will control you. So let yourself go through that, get up and watch your face and go your way. And after a while, you're getting stronger and stronger and wiser, it'll be amazing. But you gotta let it happen, there's nothing you can do. But don't hate that it's happening, don't judge yourself. That makes sense?
It does.
Yeah. So it's gonna happen because you've been living in the imagination for so long. And the one thing for sure, and without a doubt, every thought is a lie. Every thought is a lie. No such thing as true thought.
I believe that.
So just relax and let yourself grow. All right?
I had one other question.
Absolutely.
On Christmas Day, I flew to Florida, and I forgave my mom. And
How did that go?
just like you said, um, in that, you know, I was shaking in my boots, but it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. But it became uncomfortable when she said the words, exactly what are you forgiving me for? And right then, your voice sort of clicked, and the things that you've said over the years that I've followed, that I expected her to make it about herself.
Yeah.
And she did,
Yeah.
and she explained that it was for our benefit that she left separated us from me, my sister, from my father, and I tried to say that was our relationship has nothing. My father and me has nothing to do with you.
Right.
So you took over where I couldn't, and that wasn't fair to me. But I forgave her and the resentment that I had. But the look on her eyes almost changed in that she was so defensive, and what was happening was anger.
Yeah.
It was really angry.
You saw Satan.
I've never seen that look in her eyes before.
Yeah.
Something flipped, and it was almost, if she could have hit me, it was almost like she would choke me, you know.
That was Satan.
I want to believe.
And just imagine you had to grow up with that. That's why you escaped into your imagination. Because your father didn't help you with that.
I guess I sort of I felt like I walked away with maybe, do I need to go in, because I was indifferent, or I don't know if I had a little bit of anger that she made it all about her, and he was this and he was that, and he beat me, and he abused.
You told Hobbo to beat me.
Right. And I mean, but she said, well, I just knew he was going to beat you guys because he beat his other kids. And I looked at her and I said, what? And I found out that we are a product of an affair. I never knew that.
Wow. Amazing.
He was married, and she waited until now to say that we are a product of an affair. And I just thought, you know what? I forgive you.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to fight this. I'm done. I
That's
forgive
right.
you, and I just wash my hands.
There you go.
I'm over it. So I guess I felt like I wanted to make sure that I didn't need to go back and
No.
say anything.
Be done.
Okay.
Yeah, forgive her. She literally can't help it. Yeah. No, you do not need to go back. All right? And Satan will tell you that, oh, you didn't do it right. You got angry because she denied. But as long as you forgave her, move on with your life. Don't believe that it has not happened. All right? Every thought is a lie. So no, it's too risky to go back. So don't go back. And how about your father?
Oh, he was a murderer, and so he murdered a couple people,
Oh, cool.
and not cool. So he
What
was.
is like having a murderer daddy?
You know
could
what?
be at school and people say, oh, my dad is a doctor. My
He
dad is a
was.
lawyer. My dad is a murderer.
My daddy was Mr. Rogers, so
That's right.
you know, I never. My mother never really even allowed us to talk about him or even question who he was. So if we ever brought up who's my father, she would immediately just go ballistic. So
Yeah.
it wasn't until I was out of the house and out of the military that I was even able to bring him up.
That's amazing. Where is he now?
He's dead.
Oh, he
I'm
died.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
They killed him in prison.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
He did.
He did. So, anything else on your pad?
Oh, I have, I think you've answered it, but I wrote, you said women today are different in character from when you grew up.
Right.
So how can I change my character? Is that just returning to the Father?
Yes.
That
When you repent for hating, meaning that you stop judging yourself and others, God will develop your character. No thing or person can do that. It comes directly from Him. That's why when you have hatred in your heart, you have no character. You're an immoral person, out of control, right? But once you return to the Father, to God, He will develop your character. I used to be a lowlife. Really, I was like a lowlife. If you had met me in Georgia, you would not marry me. Right, right? But I'm not that way anymore. It's so amazing. I'm surprised I'm not that way. It changes. He changes you. That's why parents have to be perfect parents so the kid can see the way to grow. It's not what you say, it's your spirit. It's the character. So only God would do that. Just don't hate. All right? Anything else? That's it? All right. Well, if anything else pop up, let me know. You came a long way. And so this is your day. All right? How long you going to be in L.A.?
I'm flying out as soon as I just flew in just for this.
Wow. This is really your day. So if anything else comes up, let me know. Are you doing the silent prayer?
I do the silent prayer. That was another question. Thank you. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but I sometimes get jumbled. Like there's so much activity going on sometimes, and it's a lot of thoughts are coming in.
Yeah.
Like what do I need to do tomorrow? Or what do I got to make sure I go shopping? Or I got to make sure I do this paper, or I've got to finish this project. And I find myself getting just like drifting away.
No big deal. Just relax and come back and do what's in front of you. Really. It's just a setup. Just let it all go. And just do what's in front of you. If you're washing dishes, wash dishes. When you finish that, do what else that needs to be done, one step at a time. It's so amazing. All right? Just doubt every thought. Amazing. Anybody else? All right. Nobody have any questions or comments? Right here.
Thank you, Jesse. Question regarding, I've heard you say on your show various times, it's like, when we die, we don't know where we go. That's God's choice.
When you hear people say, Uncle Joe died, I know he's in heaven. He's with the Lord. They don't know.
Right.
We don't know. We hope. We have faith. That's why we try to do it right now, and hope that God's mercy will take us in up there.
Well, if you truly are born again, this is the part I don't get.
Right.
I don't see this. So if you truly are born again, if you've repented, admitted you were wrong for judging and playing God, returned to the Father, forgiven those that you need to forgive, and then started acting right, doing right, being right.
Right.
And then you live 30, 40 years or however long God gives you, how do you not see that you're going to end up with God after
Because
that?
God knows the heart.
Right.
And the heart is really wicked. And so he decides who he want to let in up there or not.
Okay, but you're saying that even when we're born again, we can't see.
We don't really see that. We see that we're no good. You see that by watching, right? But our heart is so wicked, only God can know.
Right.
What
So even
really
though
down in the deep heart of the person.
Okay. So
That's why you want to do it right now. You don't wait. You don't want to wait until you die and think you're going to heaven. We have a chance to do it right now while we live.
right. So if we're
And
doing
then we have hope that
okay,
that's what faith is, that if you should die, even though I'm never dying, if you should die, he'll bring you up.
so if you you say that you've been living born again, being right, doing right, and being an example for others in your ministry and the bond work, you still don't know that you're going to heaven.
No. I hope I am, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Are you going to heaven?
yes.
How you know?
Because I've repented and been born again.
But how you know you're going to heaven? I'm sorry?
I just know.
But how do you know?
I know, like I'm sitting here talking to you.
Okay.
See, that's the part I don't see, and it's not an
So
argument.
when
I'm not
you-
arguing with you. I just don't. I don't understand.
If I should go up there and I look down and I see you,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
no, I'm just kidding.
I hope to see you there.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know for sure.
I accept your answer.
All right. Anybody else? Yes.
So I have some super chats and questions.
Okay.
Hayden McGee asks, what does Jesse mean when he sometimes says that all fathers love their children?
They do.
Does that mean that fathers who still have anger in their hearts because they haven't overcome their mothers still have love to give?
They want their kids. Yes, they do. When they, just because they're fighting with the wife or the mother of the kids, they still want their kids. It's not like they don't want their kids. They just don't want the woman anymore. They don't want the woman, but they want the kids. That's why fathers take it so hard. They really take it hard when they lose their kids. They don't let you know that they're going through that, but they are taking it hard. Now, they don't have the kind of love that they should have had. They still have to overcome mama, but they still want their kids.
Sing, Pray, Love asks, if Jesus is not God, how can he forgive sins? She also adds, and by the way, I see why we must love our earthly fathers. They're the example of God's love on earth.
All right. Well, nothing that Jesus did was on his own. It was the Father working through him. So when we forgive others, it's not like we are forgiving them. God is forgiving us as we forgive them because we are admitting that we were wrong for hating. So we're not going to hold anything, but it's God working through us with all things. That's what all things so amazing. All right?
Blockchain asks, can we somehow help our beloved ones get closer to God?
Yeah.
How should we go about just leave, then suffer and die?
Become an example. Christ was an example, right? So when you saw the Son, you saw the Father. And so some of your family members, they're going to see that in you. Some will see it and hate it. Others will see it and say, wow, I want that. I notice that you don't get mad. I notice that you seem to overcome all things. You don't worry. Then you can tell them. You can point the way for them. But they'll see it in you. They really will. All right? So let me tell you this. The one thing I've come to realize is that parents today are not teaching your sons and daughters how to be independent while they're growing up. For some reason, you're teaching them to go to college. You're preparing them for college, but you're not preparing them to live a life when they become 18 or whatever and go out into the world. And I'm hearing a lot of these young men saying they're afraid to leave home because they're afraid that they won't make it. Have you heard them say that? And mama tells them to stay home, save your money. And they stay home and save money because they are afraid to move out on their own. That never occurred to me when I was 18. When I turned 18, I never once thought that I wasn't going to make it. I didn't really know what making it meant. I wasn't thinking about making it. I knew I was going to get a job. I knew I could pay my rent because when I was growing up, I was taught to work. You have to teach your kids to work and be responsible while growing up. And then when they get 18, they have the confidence that they can take care of themselves. Really, it's so abnormal to think at 18 and on that you can't take care of yourself. I don't even know, I would kill myself if I thought that way. Don't kill yourself, though. All right? But that's like, you're supposed to, I've seen so many 18, 19, 20 and on young men, especially men, more so than the women, who are afraid to leave home, and you ask why. I don't know if I can take care of myself. What does that mean? Don't let the ladies know you feel that way, all right? Because I wouldn't want to live that way, not knowing how to take care of myself. Get 2 or 3 jobs. But it's the parents' fault that they don't train you up to be ready as an adult, but they prepare you for college. And so many kids are dropping out of college now because they don't like it, it's boring, they become a drug addict and things like that. But when they drop out, they end up back home with the parents and they are not able to make it. That's evil. Teach your kids to work while they're growing up. Make them work around the house, and when they get of age, make them get a job. All right? Don't do that to your kids. Any question about that? All right. One other thing I want to tell you. In life, when you become an adult, you're not a kid to your parents anymore. You're not your mother's baby. You're not your daddy's baby. So when you're around your parents, you are adults. You're not, if you feel like a child when you're around your mother or you're around your father, it's because you hate them. And that hatred, that anger has prevented you from growing up and becoming an adult. All right? When I overcame my anger and I was around my parents, I didn't feel like a kid anymore. And I didn't know I didn't feel that way. I just didn't remember. I used to, when I was around them, even as an adult, especially my mother, if she said something, I feel like all weak on the inside. But you're equal to your parents now. You're their peers. You're not their children. So if you feel that way when you're around them, you need to speak up. And don't be afraid to speak up. Because you're not a kid. When you're 18, you're grown. All right? It's okay to be grown because if you don't deal with your parents in that way, when you go out into the world, you're going to deal with other people that way. You're going to act like a kid. You're going to be afraid. I don't feel like I'm a child to anyone. I treat everybody the same now. I was on a radio show on Friday. I was invited on this show. The host name was, what was her name? I think it was Moletta or something? Molette Green. She's a black woman, and I guess she has some connection to or Howard University or Sirius Radios, one of those stations. And so they invited me on to explain why I say a man should never marry an educated woman. Don't marry. So they black. They wanted to know, well, what do you mean by that? So they had the host on. Is it Molette Green? And who were the guests that was there too? Give him the mic. Both the guys just holding the mic. So there was a woman on, a guest woman on by the name of Carissa.
So it was Molette Green was the co-host. She wasn't even the real host.
Oh, okay.
She was a co-host.
Right.
And they didn't tell us that the regular host would be out. They told us that the host would be there and you'd be on with 3 other women, 3 strong, educated women.
3 strong women.
You want me to tell why you were on? Or
well, who was the other 2
okay.
that was there?
The other one, her name is Sharice Jordan Jackson. She was a former reality show person on Real Housewives of the Potomac. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that show, but the Real Housewives show, they're all over the...
You guys familiar with that show?
They're in Atlanta, New York, and they have one in the Potomac. Okay, and the other one is Dr. Michelle Day. She's got like 3 or 4 different degrees.
Anybody heard of her? Michelle Day? Oh, amazing. And so why was I there?
So So Jesse had talked about why men shouldn't marry educated women or women with several degrees. He talked about it in the context of a Republican congressman that has stepped down. He was married to this woman that was on MTV's Real World. Anyways, so they're a couple now. They've got like 9 or 10 kids. She just had a baby, and he left Congress to basically go home and take care of the babies and all that kind of stuff so she can do her thing.
So the man quit Congress so he can become the woman, and the woman's still working. Go figure. A woman don't want a man like that, but anyway, go ahead.
So they got wind of his comments, and we started getting calls from different people saying, you know, does he really believe that men shouldn't marry educated women? So this particular show got a hold of it, and they wanted him to come on to basically defend it. It really was a setup. They were going to try to ambush him and go after him.
And so I rushed to the phone to do this interview, right? I'm like, yes, there is a God. And so the lady brings me on, and she introduced me about the comment. She didn't really introduce me about what I do a lot, right? She black. And so she played the statement where I said men should marry, don't marry women with degrees. And then she asked me to explain it. And I said, yeah, that's right. I said, because women have big egos. When they go to college, their egos get bigger. And they will not make for a good wife or mother because they think they want to be like a man. So the competition's there. And right away, she's like, doctor, what do you think, doctor? They bring on the doctor, right? And the doctor's like, well, I'm, my husband and I just boys, and I'm a good mother. I raised amazing kids. I'm like, Lord. And then I said, that's not true. I said, what you don't realize, the spiritual order of God in Christ, Christ is man, man over woman, woman over children. And women can't raise children alone because they have no love. They have to come down through the Father, from God, through the Father, right? Woo. I can just feel the heat. My phone was like hot in my hand. And then she asked another one of the ladies, what do you think about that? And they were going on and on. And this woman said something about, I can't remember all of it. We're going to play it hopefully tomorrow on the show. She said something about she was a Christian woman or something like that, right? And I said, no, Satan is the woman's God. I said, God is the man's God, and Satan is the woman's God, and that's why they need their fathers and they need the husband to help them overcome. It was over. Next thing I knew, I was off air. I'm like, hello, hello. It was just gone. And the other woman was starting to explain she and her husband's situation, and she was like, you know how the women talk badly about the men, but they don't say what they do, right? And I was going to respond, well, I can't believe you because women don't say what they do. But they had hung up on me so fast. And I would call her back. I'm like, let me call back. I knew they had hung up. Let me call her. They would not answer the phone. They hung up on me. Strong women. Strong. And what did they say to you when you asked why? Herman said it all
At
out.
first, they claimed they didn't hang up on you and that they were going to call you back. So I was communicating with the producer, and they just left it like that. But I heard the host basically say, we're not going to put up with those kind of comments. And so I knew at that point they had hung up on you. But if I could add, you know, we put out an announcement right before the show that they take calls and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they gave us the phone number for the call, and it turned out that wasn't even the right number. So
Amazing.
they didn't want your, you know, your supporters to call in ahead of time. So we ended up getting the real number after the show started. And then lastly, I thought it was interesting that they actually made your point by hanging up on you.
Yeah.
Because one of the things you say is guys don't want to put up with these educated women. Some of them, they don't want to listen. They think they know it all.
They were living it out. As I was
that's what
saying.
they did.
They were ab-living.